now. Hi, I'm Daniel of Mirror Right Cosplay, and in this video, we're going to seal and paint the assault rifle from Halo 3. Hi, welcome back to another video. Hopefully you've watched our previous video where we constructed this assault rifle from Halo 3 from scratch out of EVA foam. Now it's time to seal and paint it. For sealing, I'm going to be using Plastidip, but if you're at a location that you can't use Plastidip, either you're like in an apartment or the weather's not cooperating, it's way too cold, then you can use something like Mod Podge or Flexbond. For this build, we're going to use Plastidip. It comes in this easy spray in a can, and we're just going to spray it all on here. Hopefully I have enough. I might have to go to the store, but we're going to do it. And we'll probably end up spraying about 3 even coats on the rifle. In the previous video, I showed that we had already heat sealed the rifle with a heat gun, so it's all ready for the Plastidip. So let's get to it. But before we get started, if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. We've been putting out some cosplay videos every once in a while. We appreciate your support. Hit the bell to get notifications and leave a comment below to help with the algorithm and all that fun stuff that you have to do on YouTube. Okay, that's out of the way. Let's go seal this. So we're going to do a few light coats of Plastidip over the entire rifle. Just go nice and slow, make sure the coats are even and not too thick so it doesn't pool up, and hit every side of the rifle. The Plastidip only takes about 2 hours to dry, so after it's dried, we'll put on another coat. Again, thin layers over the entire rifle, and I ended up doing about 3 coats total. Once the Plastidip has dried overnight, it's time to put on a base coat of this gloss black lacquer, and we're using metallic lacquers to paint the gun. And so we'll use this gloss black as a base coat so that the lacquers afterwards will have a nice shine. Once the gloss black dried, I maxed off half the gun to paint the lower half with this steel lacquer from Alclad 2. And that's what we'll use to paint the entire bottom half of the gun. For the upper half, we're going to use polished aluminum, again from Alclad 2. This is probably my favorite color of all the metallic lacquers that they put out. When I was first building the gun, I did a bunch of test strips, and this definitely came out to be my favorite. Once both halves of the gun was dried, I went back in with gloss black again, but this time to paint all of the shadows on the gun. I painted black on each valley, on each line, anywhere that it should be a little bit darker to give a little bit more definition on the gun. That includes around the little bolts that are on top of the gun, and also those big spaces that are on top of the gun. Now my favorite part of the paint job is doing the weathering and the scratches and highlighting. And for that I use this metallic silver acrylic paint that I've had for a while, and I use that on pretty much anything that's metallic. I used it on my main Master Chief armor as well. And I'm just doing some simple dry brushing, being careful not to use too much of the paint when I'm doing each of the strokes on the edges. Just enough to give it that realism of a metallic gun. I made sure that I hit the grip on the front really hard. That really brings a lot of definition. There's a few details that need a baby blue paint, and for that I'm using just another simple acrylic paint. For the final step, we're going to put on a clear coat, and I like to use this shellac for anything that's supposed to be metallic. I really like the shine that it gives it. However, I have also used Aqua Gloss from Alclad 2 if you want to use that instead. Okay, now after the final clear coat is put on, the last thing to do are to finish these barrels, these pieces right here, which we had taken apart earlier. We'll seal them and then paint them with the polished aluminum lacquers. Once that's done, you can just put them back where they were, back into the holes that we drilled in the previous video. I like to keep these unglued, although you can glue them in permanently if you'd like. It's nicer to travel with. You can take them out so they don't get squished. Also, if you need to make another barrel, like with an orange tip for cons, you can just pop it out and swap it out. I really like using the metallic lacquers because of the shine it gives off. It kind of looks like actual metal, especially with the dry brushing and the shadows that we put on there, especially in some different lights. You can be mistaken as actual metal. But if you don't have any lacquers or you don't have an airbrush, you can use, it's like some metallic brush-on acrylics, or they have metallic spray cans that you can use as well. If you do use other kinds of painting, make sure you use the right shading of colors for the gun. So the lower half is that more steel-like look, a little bit more matted, and then the top is a little bit more brighter, which we use the polished aluminum on. But if you're not using the lacquers, you kind of want it to match that way. Like I said, we're done now. But if you've made one of these, I would love to see it. Tag us on Instagram at MirrorBright Cosplay or on Twitter at TheMirrorBright, or you can leave a comment below with a link to a picture, and I'd just love to see it. Thanks for watching these videos. They've been a lot of fun to make. If you haven't already, please subscribe. There might be some more Master Chief content coming up. I'm working on a few other things to add to the costume, and we'll hopefully be making a video about that. But until then, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.